Once a place of refuge, KODY Brown's home now felt like a cemetery of dashed hopes as he stood by alone in the foyer. The quiet was overwhelming. The house was quiet in the early evening. The lights were low, the kids were gone for the weekend, and there was a palpable emotional burden. Robin sipped red wine at the marble island in the kitchen, consciously avoiding his eyes. Her beautifully manicured features were illuminated by the soothing illumination as she absently glanced through her phone. KODY said, "Robin," in a raspy but forceful voice, "we must speak." She didn't recoil. "I told you, if this is about the Amex bill once more." His eyes narrowed as he interrupted, "It's not about the card. It's about everything. Everything. Us." Robin put down her glass gently and arched an eyebrow. "KODY, define everything." A big folder was thrown onto the table by him. Its contents, including withdrawal slips, bank information, and receipts, fell out. He didn't have to elaborate. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Spa retreats, cosmetic procedures, boutique fees, and luxury travel, all within the last 3 months, speak for themselves in the numbers. He whispered softly, almost to himself, "I trusted you. You were spending $10,000 on a handbag and scheduling facials in Sedona while our family was disintegrating and garrisons passing devastated us." Robin didn't dispute it, but her expression wavered. "You believe I haven't done anything else? Do you think I've had it easy?" KODY's angry voice wavered. "You informed me that you required time to grieve. However, I wasn't sufficient, was I? All I was the pocketbook. Only the safety net." Bitterly, she laughed. "KODY, don't make this about you right now." His mouth clenched as he took a step closer. "I sacrificed everything. Meri, Janelle, and Christine all pleaded with me to see the reality. When no one else would stand up for you, I did. I abandoned my children. For what purpose?" Robin's tone became cold. "You desired a devoted spouse. You have one." "No," he yelled. "I have a calculating partner who knows exactly what strings to pull. I was never loved by you. You cherished what I was able to offer you." Robin didn't dispute it for the first time, standing calmly before turning and leaving without saying anything as she went upstairs. Later that evening, KODY sat by himself in the quiet living room while his mind raced over years of repressed doubts, the red lights that had once been minor and acceptable suddenly blaring like sirens. He recalled Robin's relentless efforts to use family funds to keep her failing jewelry business afloat in 2014, her insistence on purchasing a large Flagstaff home in spite of mounting debt, and her use of health protocols to isolate him during the pandemic, not only from his other wives but also from his own children. The worst memories came flooding back, the way Christine quietly packed up her belongings and went, giving up on a guy she no longer knew. The sorrow in Janelle's voice when she pleaded with KODY to see what Robin was doing, the expression in Gabriel's eyes when KODY missed his birthday. Each one of them was correct. Upstairs, Robin packed a suitcase. She didn't cry or sob this time. Instead, she moved with robotic efficiency, folding high-end clothing and carefully stacking boxes of jewelry and cosmetics. She didn't even inquire as to where she would go because she had anticipated this day. KODY was waiting by the entrance when she descended the stairs. She calmly declared, "I'm done fighting." "I'm not fighting you." "All right," he said, "because I'm done enabling. You'll regret it. You'll realize you had someone who stayed when no one else would," she sneered. "You stayed for the credit cards, not for me," said KODY, shaking his head. Robin departs. The SUV sat motionless outside while Aurora and Brianna waited in the back seat without making eye contact. Robin left without turning around, pulling 2 Louis Vuitton suitcases behind her. Something within of KODY broke as he watched her leave the doorway, the wind rustling his shirt, not because she was going, but because he had let it to get this far. He didn't chase her, he didn't wave. He simply stayed there, observing with icy disinterest as the woman for whom he had given everything disappeared into the distance. He muttered as the SUV vanished into the trees, "For far too long, I allowed the wrong one to stay." The bottom of rock near Coyote Pass 2 days later, KODY found himself standing on the barren, empty plains of Coyote Pass, a place that had come to represent all he had failed to construct, a dream that had been reduced to dust. Perched on a tree stump, He gazed out over the empty space, which was now devoid of wives, children laughing, architectural blueprints, and ideal homes. Only him and the consequences of his own decisions. With hesitation, he took out his phone. Then he sent Christine a text. "You were correct about Robin and everything else. Next, Janelle, I apologize. I ought to have shielded you rather than standing up for her. Lastly, Meri, I finally understand if you ever want to talk." After putting the phone back in his jacket, he turned to face the sky, where the sun shone through the clouds, bathing the landscape in warm light. KODY Brown experienced an unexpected feeling for the first time in years. Robin had been gone for 3 weeks. KODY had spent most of his days driving out to Coyote Pass, roaming the deserted plots of land, reliving old memories, and slowly, painstakingly, unraveling the lies he had allowed to grow around him. The solitude in his home no longer felt oppressive. It was almost serene now. But in the Browns' world, tranquility is never permanent. KODY's phone lit up one morning while he was sitting by himself on the back patio drinking coffee. A high-profile divorce attorney is still with Robin Brown, a TMZ headline with a blurry picture of Robin grinning outside a high-end Scottsdale law firm. And he was completely chilled by the words beneath. A tell-all book is in the early stages of development, and sources close to the former sister-wife reveal she intends to expose financial discrepancies and emotional neglect during the marriage. KODY's cup broke against the deck after slipping out of his hands. Meri's call. KODY's phone buzzed once more that afternoon. The number was unknown, and the area code was Arizona. After he paused, he responded. "Meri?" he inquired warily. After a lengthy silence, her voice came again, steady but colder than he had remembered. "Are you at last prepared to confront what you did?" KODY took a slow seat. He was honest when he said, "I see it all now." "I am. You see Robin now, but you haven't seen yourself yet," Meri said. He didn't dispute. With a harder tone, Meri went on, "I kept receipts. And I have documents. You might want to lawyer up. I stayed quiet when she manipulated you into transferring property into her name. I said nothing when she said your love was purer with her than it ever was with me." "You're threatening me?" KODY blinked. She yelled, "I'm warning you because you're going to find out that Robin wasn't the only one who was playing you." Christine answers. Christine in Utah, meantime, was glued to her phone. From KODY, a message, "You were correct on all counts." She chuckled to herself, but not in a mean way. Rather, it was the soft, worn-out laugh of a woman who had finally witnessed her ex-husband's collapse without having to do anything. She returned the type. "Good luck, but too little, too late." Robin's silent power move. KODY wasn't aware of it yet, but her lawyer acted quickly, and Robin had already locked the money from their joint account, which was used to pay for her new temporary residence in a rental just north of Sedona. She was changing the story. She described herself as a woman who had been exploited, deceived, and emotionally abandoned after giving her best years to a failing polygamist fantasy in her secret journal, which she had already started disclosing to ghostwriters. The book she was working on was titled Sister No More. Robin said in a taped interview with her lawyer that KODY emotionally abandoned her following Garrison's passing, forced her into seclusion during COVID, and refused to consult a therapist. There were even rumors that she might advocate for domestic compulsion, a term that is sufficiently ambiguous to sway public opinion without needing formal evidence. Her lawyer was unambiguous. "We go public if KODY refuses to accept a complete monetary settlement and relinquish any further claims to the Coyote Pass land." The asset showcase. With a heavy sigh, KODY's lawyer at the Flagstaff Law Office passed a document across the desk. She stated, "Half of what's left is already in her name." KODY gazed at the document. His mouth fell open. It had all been set up during the real estate transaction for the Flagstaff house. He could hardly remember signing the documents or setting the trust. He muttered, "She's been planning this for years. She planned this." The lawyer didn't dispute it. She said, "Meri's lawyer filed a petition to reopen the LLCs used to purchase family properties, and she's accusing you of financial fraud." Janelle's caution. KODY called Janelle in a desperate attempt. Unexpectedly mild. Her voice was neither sympathetic nor nasty. Janelle replied, "You didn't listen to my warning that she was siphoning everything." KODY said, "I lost everything. The wives, the children, the money, the land, the house." She stated bluntly, You gave it to her, you didn't lose it. Janelle's caution Kody called Janelle in a desperate attempt. Unexpectedly mild. Her voice was neither sympathetic nor nasty. Janelle replied, "You didn't listen to my warning that she was siphoning everything." Kody said, "I lost everything. The wives, the children, the money, the land, the house." She stated bluntly, "You gave it to her, you didn't lose it." A last betrayal when Kody got to his mailbox a few days later, he discovered a padded envelope. There was a manila folder inside. Legal agreements, property deeds, trusts, bank transfers, and dozens of copies of other documents. All of them were redirected to Robin's advantage and signed by him. A note in fine calligraphy on top. "Have fun explaining this on camera. You were always too easy to manipulate." Trembling, he fell into his truck. This was more than a simple divorce. This was being disassembled. Worst of all, he constructed the full weapon and gave it to her. Final scene: Kody made one last drive out to Coyote Pass, where he parked close to the middle of the land that was no longer legally his, causing the dust to kick up. The dirt and scrub were glowing a reddish gold as the sun was sinking. He remained still. By themselves. No cameras, no marriages, no kids, no empire. Just a man in his own ego's ruins. He muttered into the wind, "I believed I still had control, and I believed she loved me." The wind, however, didn't respond. There was only quiet. Kody's phone was vibrating nonstop when he woke up, and he saw voicemails from TLC execs, missed calls, and texts from old friends. The first interview then aired, a 30-minute exclusive with Robin that was shot in subdued lighting with moving music playing as she used a tissue to wipe at her tears and muttered, "He promised to protect me, but he only did so for the dream, not for me." The book excerpts. Social media was inundated with excerpts from the memoir. The gaslighting persisted, but the money vanished. Until the trophy lost its value. "I was treated like a trophy wife. Soulmates don't make you feel disposable," despite what he said about me being his soulmate. She portrayed herself as the last surviving wife, the most faithful and the most deceived. She depicted Janelle and Christine as women who fled responsibility, and she said Meri never emotionally supported her. Kody sat at his kitchen table, looking at the pages in shock. However, Chapter 9, the contracts, dealt the actual blow. Robin said that after Kody coerced her into signing a post-nuptial agreement, he then revoked it for his own protection. The public believed her when she produced replicas, whether they were authentic or fake. TLC's reaction: TLC officials issued a statement in a matter of days. "In light of recent events, we are reassessing Sister Wives' future. Production has been halted indefinitely. The cameras stopped filming, and they were done." The network had turned away from Kody, who had been portrayed as a self-assured patriarch, but was now seen as an emotionally unstable, manipulating ex-husband who had completely lost all credibility. Meri responds. Meri then took the initiative. Her eyes were steady and her hair was done properly when she arrived on The View. "I gave up my fortune to assist Kody establish this life, and I've been silent for more than 10 years, she started. "But it's time the world understood that I was the one supporting sections of the early seasons." The hosts were taken aback. "This is a signed agreement. Kody borrowed over $80,000 from me to buy property in Utah and later Flagstaff. He promised repayment," Meri added, displaying documents. "He never paid it back," she said, sliding another document forward. The internet took off. Christine and Janelle secretly liked the videos on Instagram while TikTok circulated, breaking down every moment of Meri's global popularity. The tide had shifted. The subpoena: a woman in a dark suit emerged from a white SUV that had stopped into Kody's driveway on a rainy afternoon in Flagstaff. She gently handed him a manila envelope and said, "You've been served, Kody Brown." Within, a subpoena from the federal government. Robin's lawyer had legally requested an audit of every company Kody had founded in the previous 15 years. LLCs, joint ventures, land trusts, TLC revenue, and real estate purchases. Financial malfeasance, covert asset transfers, and the use of fictitious paperwork to stop wives from claiming property were all alleged. Janelle's name appeared on the witness list. An affidavit had been signed by Meri. Christine had provided proof. What about Robin? She had fallen silent. A man by himself, KODY remained still as he sat on the porch of a house that no longer felt like his, the wooden board soaked from the steady rain. Solomon answered his ringing phone. "Why is Mom on TV saying you hurt her, Dad?" the boy whispered. KODY opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. His once ruling family had devolved into a chorus of ex-wives, legal charges, and smoldering bridges, and the world had fallen apart. Even his children were now starting to doubt him. Last seen, abandoned Coyote Pass. KODY made one final trip back to Coyote Pass. Now there were no stakes, no markers, no designs, just desert wind, quiet, and broken illusions, and the land was wild. He dropped the subpoena in the dirt after walking to the middle. No wives, no cameras, and no story of salvation. The very lies he used to establish his kingdom brought him to ruin. To the breeze, he murmured, "I was only the distraction, even though I thought I was the leader." And his words were swallowed by the countryside, which was silent and unforgiving. Although the entire Brown legacy had been appended by Robin's tell-all, the repercussions were just getting started. In the first 2 weeks, Robin's book, Sister No More, sold over 500,000 copies, topped every headline, TikTok trend, and YouTube reaction channel, and she had disappeared from the public eye, according to her lawyers. KODY Brown's name was now shorthand for delusion, financial treachery, and the collapse of patriarchy rather than polygamy. Two of the ladies he had previously rejected were getting ready for a very different type of resurgence as he withered in quiet. Christine and Janelle respond this time. Christine Brown and Janelle were sitting across from each other in a Salt Lake City studio office, both of them drinking iced coffee and grinning. A big streaming site had recently offered them a multi-episode docuseries deal. Rebuilding Sisterhood is the title. It would be their tale, the true one. The road of survival, treachery, and ultimately healing, rather than merely a reaction to Robin's book. During the first confessional shoot, Christine addressed the cameras. "When we left KODY, we assumed the story was over, but it turns out that it was only getting started." Janelle went on to say, "He was afraid because we were too independent, despite being told we were too demanding, too emotional, and too opinionated." Would Robin's accusations be addressed? The producers inquired. Christine grinned. "Oh, we'll deal with everything. Not with tears, but with facts." The summons of the court. KODY was being drawn into a nightmare back in Flagstaff that even TLC was unable to plan. A formal inquiry into KODY's alleged misuse of shared funds, deceptive property transfer documentation, and manipulative contracts had been launched by the Office of the Arizona State Attorney General. The IRS had joined. Unreported income from speaking engagements, item sales, cameo appearances, and worst of all, alleged usage of LLCs in his older children's names without their knowledge was reported. KODY's lawyer was direct. "You will stand trial." The kids picked sides. The Brown family, which had hitherto been tightly controlled, was now publicly divided. Michael T. Aspen and Payton all shared mysterious Instagram tales that alluded to financial abuse. Still in mourning over Garrison, Gabriel tweeted, "We were merely supporting characters in his ego play. He was more concerned with the money than the memories." However, not every youngster rebelled against him. Fans were taken aback when Robin's son, Dayton, spoke out in favor of KODY. "He wasn't flawless, but my mother is too." Rumors quickly surfaced that Robin's tale wasn't as flawless as she wanted the world to think, and that Dayton had his own version of events. KODY Brown's trial. The courtroom was full. Even though streaming cameras were prohibited, leaked sketches and audio continued to go viral on Reddit and Twitter, attracting the attention of journalists, ex-wives, fans, haters, and former polygamist families. The prosecution provided proof of at least 6 financial organizations that KODY had established, several of which transferred TLC funds to accounts that Robin subsequently took control of. Meri testified, explaining how she was coerced into loaning her fortune to KODY under false pretenses. Christine presented documented agreements attesting to the removal of her name from property deeds without permission. Screenshots of text chats in which KODY acknowledged moving things into Robin's name to protect it from the others were included in Janelle's affidavit. KODY sat quietly while they read. "Mr. Brown, do you understand the charges brought against you?" the judge questioned. He hardly raised his voice above a murmur. "Yes, I do." Robin's quiet moments. Robin resurfaced at the halfway point of the trial. She had glossy lighting, a polished PR video, and fake sincerity in her eyes. I never wanted this to be made public, but I had to protect myself and my children, so I couldn't keep quiet. Then the unexpected thing happened. A voicemail that was purportedly delivered by Robin to KODY 3 weeks prior to the divorce was leaked. Those funds need to be moved immediately. Christine and Meri are acting like vultures, and I don't trust either of them. With the hashtag Robin knew, Robin trended once more when the voicemail became viral. The second printing of her book was halted by a silent statement from her publisher. The hero tale abruptly fell apart. Previously the last surviving wife, Robin Brown was now considered a co-conspirator. Janelle and Christine rise 2 days following the voicemail leak. Rebuilding Sisterhood's pilot episode premiered. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.